SelectaDNA offers a range of forensic marking solutions to identify both offenders and valuable property. The solution is virtually invisible to the naked eye and can only be identified under police UV lights. Criminals know that DNA links them to crimes they commit, and SelectaDNA works in exactly the same way. It provides a forensic link between offenders and crime scenes, helping police secure convictions. It has become one of the most effective crime reduction solutions available to police forces and the public all over the world. When criminals see SelectaDNA warning signs and window stickers, they stay well away from those DNA-protected areas. Used by over 3/4 of the UK police forces, SelectaDNA is proven to reduce burglary and theft by up to 85%. SelectaDNA has established itself as many police forces' preferred forensic marking product. The forensic code and microscopic dots in SelectaDNA provide the police with 2 ways to positively identify recovered property, and in the case of the dots, an immediate answer as to who the property belongs to. Greater Manchester Police and Manchester City Council chose SelectaDNA to drive down theft and burglaries in an area of the city which had the highest burglary rate in Greater Manchester. SelectaDNA property marking kits were distributed to homes for residents to mark their possessions, and SelectaDNA spray systems were already used in the area to protect businesses, homes, and even vehicles against theft and robberies.
My son lives further down. There seems to be more robberies down that end than it is nearer to the main road here.
The majority of the area I cover, the L4 subdivision, is a very deprived, very challenging area to police. However, this particular area, the Fairway Estate, is probably the most affluent estate on my community. Therefore, it is targeted by offenders. Local offenders know that people more affluent here and have more expensive items.
So what we needed to do was to look at things differently, because when you actually peel back some of the issues, you're looking at people, you're talking about victims, and what we needed to do was show some ambition and a will to do things differently. And I think that's where SelectaDNA comes in, because that confidence that it brings to the people who live in that area, and also the police officers that work, they know they can go, and then when they're working with the forensic teams, that they know that they've got a positive result there. You know, they go out and they knock on people's doors, they spend time talking to individual families, explaining to them the benefits of SelectaDNA and the long-term effects it would have on reducing burglary in their area. I think what you've seen as well is that it's bonded the community together. We've allowed the PCSOs to be instrumental in doing that, and I think I've just got to say a big thank you to the PCSOs that work in that area, because I think, you know, the fact that they're taking time out to go and knock on people's houses, apply the kit, fill in the forms, send them back, making sure we've got all the registrations right in post, because I think that's the key thing to this, making sure that we get the registrations right, so if we get a hit, we can trace it all the way back, and we can put that offender behind bars, and so they're not a blight on that local community.
This is a long-term established community. We're able to go in, speak to people, engage with people. The PCSOs are getting to know who the community are, and the community are also getting to know who their local policing team are.
The importance of a project such as this is vital. We know in Manchester, in particular in Greater Manchester, that burglary is too high and confidence is too low. This is an excellent example of how we actually, A, begin to improve the performance of the police, and B, increase the public confidence. And I'm sure that members of the public, such as Rita, who's also an elected member in the area, would actually contribute to that.
I think the SelectaDNA initiative is an excellent step, because it makes people feel safer, and it also complements the Home Watch Association that we've had for many years. So together they make a perfect partnership.
I think it will be a very challenging project for us, and obviously the police and the local authority who are involved in the project. But I think we will be able to achieve some very real and substantial burglary reduction figures using the kits and advertising the use of the product. But not only that, but to reduce the fear of crime amongst residents as well. And hopefully make the area a much safer and better place for them to live in.
In the 3-week period we've been doing this, we've got up to 65% of the properties done so far, with an aim of getting 100% done in the next couple of weeks.
In September 2010, 6 months after the launch of the scheme, we revisited the Fairway estate to evaluate the effect it had had on the local community.
6 months ago, we talked about, you came to my division and we talked about the Fairway. It was one of the most targeted streets on the A division. So we used SelectaDNA on the street, and the figures speak for themselves. We've achieved an 83% reduction in burglaries on that particular road.
The SelectaDNA has worked really well in the area. The residents are responding positively to it. They feel a lot happier because they feel that we as a whole are doing something to protect them, and they're also protecting and helping to protect themselves.
We was getting a lot of burglars, and they came round with the DNA. I should say nearly every house has had it done, and it's actually died down faster. The burglars have died down faster since we've had that done. Yeah,
we had a home watch meeting quite recently. We produced the figures for them on the reduction of the burglaries, and they were really well chuffed with it, very happy.
We learned that there'd been an 83% reduction in burglary in the area, which really is absolutely phenomenal.
SelectaDNA has certainly helped reduce the fear of crime on the Fairway. I mean, first of all, we had a massive reduction in the figures of people being victims of burglary, but the signage, the product itself, and also seeing an increased presence of the police and the PCSOs has certainly helped.
A few days ago we arrested an individual who was trying to get rid of property that's come from a house with SelectaDNA on it. So we were able to trace that property all the way back to the house. And it's surprising really, the messages that goes out quickly you know, across the criminal grapevine really.
One burglary had actually occurred in between two houses that had the DNA, and obviously that one for some reason had been missed off, whether because they decided not to have it or whether there'd been a problem with the police actually gaining entry to that property. But that again makes you think that if our property has been marked and obviously the stickers in the windows are very visible, then thieves are going to actually target houses that haven't actually been done.
So I think for me, it's sending a positive message out to the criminals that we're not messing around, we're here to take you to the cleaners in effect, we're here to put you behind bars, and I think that's what members of the public want us to do.
SelectaDNA continues to work with police forces across the UK to ensure that schemes like this, as well as individuals and businesses which purchase SelectaDNA, can keep criminals away, drive down crime, and ultimately create safer communities for people to live and work in.